Hi, my name is Shalonda Watson. Today I'm going to interview Brandi Hampton, who became a single mother at a young age. We're going to take a few minutes to hear her story and how she made it. So, welcome, Brandi.
Thank you.
One of the first questions is, how old were you when you found out you were pregnant, and what went through your head?
I was 16 years old. Something I'll never forget that day. So, of course, a woman knows her body, right? And, Mother Nature didn't come as planned. And I was like, oh, wow. But, I'm still young. I'm oblivious to stuff, obvious. And I remember going to school, and I told one of my closest friends, and there was a health clinic across the street from our high school. I stay in a small town, and she was like, well, let's go, it's free. And I'm like, well, let's go. So after school, we had everything planned. After school, we were just gonna walk over and see. And after school came, and I was nervous all through school, and I was like, I don't know, maybe just something wrong with me, something's wacky. I'm like, this can't be. And I went, and they asked me what I was there for. I said, I need a pregnancy test. And the lady looked at me and was like, how old are you? I was like, I'm 16. I just came from the high school over there. And she's like, so you really think you are? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what that feels like. And she had me go get some urine, and she came back, and she was like, you're pregnant. And I just never forget it. Like, I started bawling on the wall. And my friend was so shocked, but we were all young. She didn't know how to really console me. So she was just looking at me crying. And I still tease her to that day because we're still good friends. And I'm like, geez, I took you as a support system. And I was on the wall, like, falling down crying. And you were just sitting there. She was like, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Right. Okay. How did you balance school, like high school at that point, and being a mother?
So when I found out, I was a junior. So I went my whole junior year being pregnant. I had my son that May.
Okay.
So school was almost out about the beginning of June. So that May I went out. I actually went out of school earlier because we had like 3 flights of stairs. And I started complaining to my doctor about I was tired. I didn't want to walk up the stairs. It was getting to be too much. So I actually got homeschool. So like they do a tutor. Our school was a little unique. We actually had a daycare in our school.
Wow.
So
there were a lot of
it
kids
was.
that were pregnant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can say, yeah, it was, because the daycare was filled. So they gave us tutors when we got tired of walking around pregnant with all the stairs and stuff. So I had a tutor. She would go around, get all my assignments from all my teachers at school, and she would bring it to me, ask me if I needed help, and I would just complete my work. And I would be at home all during the day. I would just sleep, do my schoolwork, and then that evening I would go to work. So it was really, the junior year it was fairly easy because I had them that May, and it was like, okay, I kept with my tutor with my homework. So I finished. So then I went back to school in August. So he would have been, 3 months? So that's when things kind of got more real. So it's my senior year, you're supposed to be all excited. Everybody's talking about college, prom, and here I am with a baby, a newborn baby. And going to school is really rough because my mom was one of those, you made your bed and you're going to sleep up in it. And that comes with everything, getting up in the middle of the night when your baby's crying, you're going to feed him because I have to go to work too, and I'm not going to work tired. But you're going to go to school, and you're going to be tired too. So it was hard because even I had to have a part-time job because I didn't want my mom to think she had to take care of my kid too at that point with me too, as still being underage. So I had a part-time job from like 4 to 9. So my son was at daycare during the evening time, and I would have to get off, do any schoolwork I had to do. Plus, I mean, my son would be asleep, so you kind of feel bad because you're not having really that much interaction, with your kid. But I was lucky enough that my senior year I had enough credits to graduate. Like, I didn't have to go to school the full day, so I would be out of school by like afternoon. So I had that time with him from like noon to 4, and then go to work. When I would come home, he would pick him up from daycare. He would be asleep, and then, yeah, just do it all over again the next day.
Okay. How did you balance college and motherhood?
College and motherhood was the most challenging because at that time, I moved out when I was 18 years old, so I didn't have the help from my mom that I had versus when I was in high school still with him. And I still had to work because at that time I had bills. So I was still at the same job that I had when I was 16. Once I found out I was pregnant, so I was at the same place. It's called Millward Brown, a telemarketing place. So I actually conducted surveys about like different products that people use in the house. So yeah, I was one of those people calling you probably. So I did that. And it was still my same shift, 4 to 9 in the evenings, kept that. And then I would go to the local community college where I grew up in, and I would take classes like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I always tried to do where at least I had a couple days off in the week. So it was really hard because I had to study, and then I had to pay attention to my child. So it made it really a challenge. And I think that's one of the things that made it hard for me to really finish when I was supposed to finish. You know, they say there's no true time when you're supposed to finish college, but I just felt like, geez, I already didn't get the experience going away to college. You know, at about 21, my class is going to be graduating with a degree, and I was nowhere near set to do that because I could only take so many classes because I had to pay bills. I had to take care of a child by myself. So that made it really hard for me was just finishing. And as the kids got older, then it was like balancing. I was literally working a full-time job then because I had another child. So I had to take care of 2 kids now and work. So I needed to work full-time now because now I got 2 of these little people running around. So it was like, how do you really balance? I would work 8 to 5. So I went and did customer service because the pay was a lot more, right, for me to be able to pay my rent and all my other bills and take care of my kids. So I worked 8 to 5. The daycare lady that I found was a home daycare who was just really amazing, and she would actually watch the boys for me, watch my youngest son for me while I was at school. My mom would come from Illinois to Iowa when she got off work to meet my son at the bus stop, get him off the bus stop, go in my apartment, make dinner, feed him, bathe him. So when I got off, I went and got the youngest one. We would come home, then be time to go to sleep. So she would kind of make sure his work was done and things like that. So it made it hard, especially when they got older and it came to like sports and just balancing full-time job, going to school, studying, going to sporting events. So.
Okay. As a final wrap-up, do you have any words for anybody facing single motherhood?
Words of encouragement. Don't give up on yourself. Never doubt yourself, and never let other people who aren't in your shoes try to derail you and any negative things that people may have to say about you. Take that as a strength and keep moving forward to prove them wrong.
There you go. Thank you, Brandi.
Thank you.